Promotional considerations provided by CPR Equipment Services Limited, authorized dealers for Subaru in Antigua and Barbuda, OEC Antigua, Land, Sea, and Air Imports, the Brass Angel Group, LHF Motorsports, Racing Media Culture, Wadadley House of Finesse, Athea, House of Pink, The Glam Lounge, Lady Mex Workshop.
You're tuned in to REALyfe Driven Conversations.
What you say,
Real life. Driven.
Word on the streets, stay now.
Do I say it after? I'm sorry. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of REALyfe Driven Conversations. As a matter of fact, welcome to season 2, lap 2, and guess the name of this lap. I'm sure if you follow me, you'd know by now. This is the Badass Boss Babes episode, and I'm so delighted to speak about women who are entrepreneurs and have, risen to the top of their game and talk about their stories so that you, my listeners and viewers, will be inspired. Now, with all that aside, I am so delighted to introduce my first guest for this season, Miss Monifa St John. Welcome to the chat, sweetie.
Thank you, honey. Listen, Renée, she knows that she's my shero. I keep telling her this. She's my, what do we call it? Glitter and grease girl. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my name is Monifa St John, and I am so many things. First of all, I like to tell people that I'm a mom, and that's my biggest job and my greatest job. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a mental health advocate. I'm a public speaker. I am a motivational speaker. And what else? Oh, I'm a student. And yeah, I am so much and a piece of cake.
All that and a tin of Pringles, girl. So, and the thing is, when people hear persons like yourself or myself speak about all that we do, the first thing that they ask you is like, where do you find the time? So I'm going to ask you, Monifa, where do you find the time to do all of this?
Well, you see, we're all given a wonderful 24 hours, right? It's just that my 24 hours is broken up into segments where I, do this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I still have to take care of Bay. So all of that, and still having to take care of Bay and all of the good stuff. Renée, So yeah, it's all about prioritizing and all about scheduling and having a proper schedule to say that you will do one thing after the other and sticking to that schedule.
Well, we're going to speak about scheduling and time management later on in our discussion. So my first question to you is, what are some of the enterprises that you own or that you've developed? And why did you think it was important for you to come up with these different, companies, whether it be for self-sustaining purposes or whatever? What are some of these a lot of candidate jobs? What are some of these companies, and why did you come up with these companies?
Well, I'll give you a backstory. So for most of you, you probably didn't know because obviously we didn't tell you, but I used to live in China. I've lived in China for over 12 years. And before that, I was here, went in for Queen Show, and then, did that whole bit. So upon me getting to China, I started teaching English. And then I'm like, you know what? I can also do hair. So let me braid like a hair on the side. So I started my hairdressing business called Eden's Hairdresser. And Eden's, because it's my teddy bear name. Can you imagine? My teddy bear name came into this whole big thing. And I'll tell you all the other Edens after that. And so after I did the hairdressing salon, I got a little bit tired of it because I figure, oh my God, hairdressers, they do the most work. I can't do that. So I opened a clothing store for plus size ladies and men because you couldn't find that in China. You couldn't find big sizes of shoes or clothes in China. And so I would go to New York, I would shop for plus sizes, and I'll bring it back to China and sell it over. And that was lucrative for over 3 years. So I was just doing that, and it was called Eden's Closet. And then there was a rise in people getting to know, oh, there's money in making stuff for plus sizes. So the Chinese started to catch on, and they started to bring in clothes and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to just move on from this whole little bit and move into something else. And I worked for the WTA for 1 year. I was project manager over there. This is the Women's Tennis Association. And I was in charge of operations for a new stadium in China.
Oh, wow.
So I took a year off from school. Yeah, it was amazing. I've met like Serena, the whole big names in tennis, in women's tennis. And so I was in charge of the operations for a new stadium. And I was also pursuing my master's degree at the time. So I took a year off of that, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go back to school. So after a year of doing that work, I'm like, yeah, I've dabbled in corporate China. Let me get back into schooling. So when I got back into schooling, I decided, there's something missing in my city. Lo and behold, a lot of people started coming over to my house, and we would talk about business, and I'd cook food. And I see people always asking me, oh, you're not cooking this weekend? You're not with a pizza day, or you're not doing bread or whatever. And I'm like, what if I started selling food? So I started I did a week trial. Every day I made a different dish, and I just gave away food. And people were raving about it. And I'm like, there we go. Eden's Healthy Kitchen.
There we go.
Yeah. You just see a need for something, and then you get into it, right? And so Eden's Healthy Kitchen was one of my biggest and my best babies that I've created. It went into, it morphed into something bigger than myself that I couldn't even fathom. And the only reason why it's not existing right now is because I'm not in China and COVID-19, right? And it became so big that I was getting knocks on the doors from Chinese who wanted to franchise Eden's, and I did the whole incorporation of the company and everything in China. So that went super, like that was my baby. I promised you it went big. And, and now I have a company in the States called Eden Amore. And Eden Amore is a lifestyle brand. We deal with, all things, for the soul, and that's just natural and things like that. And we really want self-development, and so we did some yoga mats before, and now this year we're doing some journals for 2021. So hopefully you'll get to the launch of our journals pretty soon.
Just point me in the direction, and I'll be definitely supporting Eden's Amore for sure. So so far we've counted like 5 different babies.
Yeah.
Well, just give or take 2, and I mean, wow, like it's like a supply and demand chain for you. So as soon as you see something that you like, or something that your friends or customers, potential customers like, then you listen to them and somewhat say, okay, well,
into the market.
money off of this, And what is your advice to persons who see potential in, like, financial potential in something, and how can they grasp at that opportunity to get into a business specifically to make money?
Well, to be honest, majority of my babies started by me wanting to make a living, because I was one of those people who didn't want to live on campus. I wanted my own apartment. I wanted my own driver and all of these things, because I was living life in China, no lie. But I saw the need, and I just went after it. So my advice to people who want to just go out there, they know they have the talent, they know they have the drive, because that's what you need. You need the willpower and the drive to do it, right? That's all you need. Just do it. Get out there and just get started. Don't even procrastinate to say that, oh my God, what if somebody like come? What if nobody buy from me? But there will always be a customer for you. There is somebody for everybody. And I always encourage people when I'm doing my motivational speaking about business and things like that, I always encourage people to start now. Don't wait. As long as you have an idea, just get up and get going, right? You don't have to have $500,000. You don't have to have all the money in the world to start a business. You just have to have the willpower and the know-how to do something. So do your homework and start. That's it.
And also, I think that is really important that we find somewhat of a mentor going forward in business as well. Because what you find is that a lot of persons get into businesses and they have no idea. And I think it's a pride thing for us here in the Caribbean sometimes not to want to ask for help. So I think that too should be added to the list of what you just suggested. Asking
Definitely.
for help, because at the end of the day, we can't do everything by ourselves. You understand?
Yeah.
We can only take ourselves so far and no more. And at that point, you have to put on your big girl panties and ask someone, listen, I don't know how to do this, or what should be my next step going in a direction to where I want to go. You know, so I think
right.
That too.
No, you're perfectly correct, because you see, you just said it. You know, we can't do everything, and that's why collaboration is so important. That's why outsourcing is so important. I'm not a person who does graphics, right? So I'm always gonna find the next person out there who can do graphics, and I'm always looking for that person who's just starting out, because then they need the chance, right? They need the opportunities to get ahead. So why not use my business? Because my business needs you. You need an opportunity. So let's work together. Let's collaborate. And I'm not asking for handouts here. I am supporting, but come on, charge me my arm and a leg for, and you know, you just start, right? We got to be realistic.
I'm ready to tell my story, sis. I can totally relate. You know, as a serial entrepreneur myself, I think it's really important to collaborate with other minds. I mean, apart from you getting the product from them or the service from them at a discounted rate or whatever, depending on what they're comfortable with, I think it's a great opportunity for persons in their market to see what you're doing, and it's a great opportunity for people in your market to, you know, so virtually networking to some extent.
Yes.
We grow together when things like that happen. Question is, what are some of the challenges that you face getting into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I have a whole list. Like, if you want me to get into this list. Anyway, one of the biggest challenges I face is getting support from my own. Believe it or not, getting support from my own people, that has been one of the biggest challenges I've faced. And you know what? I use it let me not say a challenge per se. Let me say a little bit of a motivation, because I use it as a motivation more so than a challenge. Another challenge I have is always, you know, I'm an idea incubator. I don't know if you've heard of that term before. It's something that I've created. I'm a person who have notebooks upon notebooks full of ideas. And if you come to me with an idea, I try to find a way to like make it something that's even much bigger, right? That's me. And so sometimes people might think that I'm maybe giving too much of an advice or, unsolicited advice and things like that. But I'm totally just coming from a genuine place, wanting to see people win.
Oh.
I'm a person who genuinely, if you've never met someone, now you're meeting the person who genuinely enjoys. I get gratification from people winning, especially my friends. Girl, well, because you're my shiro. so you know how it goes. You know how I go ham for you. Like I'm always reposting. I'm always like, ah. So I'm that person. And one of the other things that I do have a problem with is just because I don't live in one particular place for a long period of time, and so I find myself having to have businesses that I can have to move with, and that's my challenge. Now I'm in Antigua, my baby's back in China, I have to close her down. My other baby's in New York, but that can still function because she's a moving baby, and and so now I need a baby in Antigua, right? And that's what I'm working on.
I highly doubt that you'll be here for the amount of time that you're here and not have a baby here. Trust me, I so know that you're soon from now you're gonna call me like, okay, sis, here what's happening. I just created this, and just let me know what you think, or just support, because I will support you 100%. But I think that also gives you diversity with regards to the environment that you're actually doing your businesses. So going to someone, let's say an investor or someone to support your business, I think that you already have a great experience base within different societies that you'll be able to show them, look, even though I was here, my business still flourished. So I have the Carfax, okay? I have the Carfax.
My track record proves, right?
I think that's a huge plus, even though it might look like a negative to some extent, because of course you have to close it down or anything and so forth. But I think that's huge. That is huge, right? So
thank you.
we are let me just segue a little bit into one of your talk shows that you do on your Facebook Live. Mental health talk Antigua. I from the get-go, I was like, yo, this is something that we needed, especially in the pandemic that we're in right now. So why did you come up with that concept? And tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about Mental Health Talk Antigua.
Okay, so Mental Health Talk Antigua is just a platform that we have on Facebook that we try to support people, and trying to change the stigma of mental health in the Caribbean and the diaspora. We find it, in the Caribbean, people look at mental health as in a negative form, in a negative light, but we want to shed the light that mental health is something that we need to focus on. It is just as important as your physical health. And because of COVID-19, a lot of people reached out to me and asked me, how was I coping? Because I was in the epicenter, Wuhan, during the outbreak. And people were like, you're so positive. We heard you on the radio and, you're so positive on all of this. And how are you coping? And I saw myself getting maybe about 6 messages. And I'm like, this is a lot. Oh, let me pull my friends in who are actually professionals in this field. And so I reached out to Regina and I'm like, you know what, girl, this is my idea. Like, I want to do this. Do you think it will be feasible? Would you want to do it with me? And she's like, girl, that's a great idea. Let's pull someone else in. And I'm like, perfect. And that's how it started. It started as with a need. We saw a need that needs, that needs to be fulfilled. Again, we're going back to the whole needing something, right? And filling that void that's there, right? And then we decided, okay, this needs to happen. And people keep telling us, we're doing a great job, that we're helping people. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that people focus on their mental health as much as their physical health, because without, your mind, your body, your soul, it's all intertwined. It's important for you to flow between the three so that you can, focus on and live your best life. That's what it's all about, living your best life at the end of the day, but you need to make sure that your mental health is in a great place.
must say, I have seen a couple of your episodes, and of course, I put in like a comment once or twice when I do come on the live, and congratulations to yourself, Regina, and Miss Walsh for doing such an amazing job. Speaking
Thank you
about
so
it,
much.
and it was so timely of you guys to come on board and to create such a platform for what's happening right now. Do you guys see this growing into something, probably somewhat of a TV series or show? Probably producing it for half an hour on our on ABS platform or anything of that sort?
Well, you see, we don't know where it will take us. A lot, we actually have to announce to the public that we have to cut down our timing, because first we did it every week, and then we had to do it twice a month, and now we're having to do it once a month because everybody's going back out to work. All these ladies all have jobs, with the exception of myself for the now, and and it's getting a little hectic, and it is a lot of work to do, the advocacy and making sure people get the content that we need them to get. And because we want to give you quality work over quantity,
right,
we decided to now, from this month, we're going to do it once a month.
Okay.
I see it more being of us putting out content as opposed to doing like the talk show. We want to give you more information. Maybe the mental health professionals in Antigua. We want to do a list of that. We want to compile different stories. We want to have PSAs and all of these little things.
Right.
So that's in the works, and you'll get an email about that because we do want you to be one of the PSA hosts when we're trying to do our, public service announcement for that.
And I'll be all up for it. Whenever you're ready for me, sis, just let me know. I'm really looking forward to that. All right. So to all our listeners and our viewers that's watching this interview, this conversation right now, what is Monifa's mantra in life?
What is my mantra in life? Okay, yes. I have a mantra, and I usually say to people that the top of the hill is not a point. It's not a zenith. It's not a tip. It's actually a plateau, and there's room at the top for everyone. So there's no need to be like the crab in the barrel. There's no need to be saying that you can't do it. Everyone can do it. Just put your mind to it. There's room at the top for every single person. And also there's money in the world to be made, right? There's money for everyone too. So just apply yourself and keep it pushing.
All right. So earlier we were to touch on time management and scheduling.
Yes.
Girl, listen, that is something that I am still working on. Even though you see a million things going up, I am still trying my best to navigate my way through scheduling and receiving phone calls and sending back phone calls and managing my time, because there's so many things that I have to do. Oh my goodness. But
don't you need an assistant?
Anyway.
Girl.
I'm signing out for applicants just now, because with everything that's going on right now, I think that soon from now I'm definitely going to need an assistant to help out, because sis, I always tell persons, look, I need a clone or probably 5, and I can stay home and sleep while everyone else works. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But what are some of the pointers you can give to any of our listeners and our viewers, even though we're kind of in the same boat with regards to scheduling and time management? What are some of the pointers you can give to our viewers and listeners about scheduling your tasks and time management?
Okay, so there's wonderful thing called Google, and you can do a lot of automated stuff that saved my life. Automation. So things like posting on Instagram, making sure you post on Facebook. You can use apps that you can preload. Just take the time, just take a day and preload these things for maybe the next month. You do that once a month. So all your Instagram is already preloaded. You don't really have to check or post and stuff like that. So that's done. So that helps with the time management. Now I have a child, and he is a lot. He is 2 years old, and he is a whole he's sleeping now. That's why I have the time to do this. Yeah, perfect timing. But I do have to be mindful of his time because he is so smart. I have to like feed his brain. So with him and with all the other things that I do, I try to make sure that he's priority and then schedule everything around him and everything else around when he goes to nap time or when he goes to sleep. And I just make it short and I don't bog down myself if I don't get a task done in that day. Like I used to do it. I used to be so hard on myself about, oh my God, I didn't do this today. Why? But I don't do that anymore. And you see this? It is a planner.
I don't have a planner, but what I do, I put everything inside of my notebooks. I have notebooks and I have sticky notes. And listen, these things are so important when you're doing stuff.
Right. So write everything down. It's important to make sure you have it on black and white. Put pen to paper and write down what you have to do. Make a list and always review that list the night before. So let's say you want to do something tomorrow, make a list for tomorrow tonight, right? And don't make a long laundry list of stuff to do. Make at least five good things to take care of in a day. And if you don't get you get 4 to 5, that's great. But don't tell me you're going to put 10 things on your list and then you'll feel so depressed, right? And you will go into like a rut if you try to do all the 10 things and you can't get them done. You can only do 4. So make a short list. I'm 5 is good, right? And then you just get into those 5, and then from that 5, you make a most important. So you listed it the most important things to do, and you start with the most important things first. Do that in the morning and knock that out, and then your day will be fine. So that's my little advice.
Well, I'm going to have to write that down because, no, don't get me wrong. There are times when I have to put up I have a to-do list here.
Yeah.
And it would have like the stuff here, and then as soon as I get one done, I cross it out.
Yeah.
The other one, because trust me, when you start juggling a lot of things at the same time, you don't want one to fall and then something else falls and then depression strikes and then everything.
You don't want to do anything.
Right. So thank you so much for those pointers. And I hope that all listeners and our viewers will take that very, very sound advice when it comes to planning their day or even planning anything when it comes to project, to manage their project as they go along.
I do want to let your listeners know, and people who are viewing you, that it's not always perfect. Like, I want people to take away that life is not perfect at all, right? There are times when I get up when I really don't want to do anything, and I really don't do anything. I mean, sometimes I just stay in my bed all day and just be in my sully, right? But I don't do that on 2 days consecutively. It's only one day, and I just get up and keep moving, right? There are days when I just can't see my way. Like, I just don't know. I'm just so like depressed. I don't know where I'm going or whatever. But I just get stuff done anyway, because guess what? The next day I can see that what I did yesterday actually helped for today. Mm-hmm. So I just want your listeners to know that even if they feel like they're struggling, they're in a rut, they're in this whole little space, that they can just get up and keep moving. That's the most important thing. Just don't go down in that hole. That hole is bad. Yeah.
That rabbit hole. Oh my goodness. That rabbit hole. So as we wind down, Monifa, mm-hmm. COVID-19, I know we can't have this conversation and speak a little bit about the pandemic that we're all facing right now. Mm-hmm. How are you coping with COVID-19?
To be honest with you, let me tell you what has happened, apart from, I'll tell you the bad first and I'll tell you all the good.
Okay.
The bad is, I got evacuated from China. I went to New York. I stayed in New York for 6 months. Now I'm here in Antigua, and I basically lost my whole apartment with all my furniture and everything in it. So, like, everything is gone. So my entire life in China is now kaput. because I can't go back at the moment. They're not allowing anybody back in, and my landlord was like, we need our place. And I was like, girl, well, I'm going to give you the place because I can't afford to be paying rent and not live there, right? And so that has been a negative. Another negative is that I was supposed to graduate this year and I did not get to graduate because of COVID-19 and all the stress and everything else that came with it. I mean, some people did get to graduate, great on them, but I had a son, I have my parents, and I am the only child, so I have to be like an octopus with my hands doing everything. So that was another negative. But the positives were I had to remove myself from situations where I was comfortable, and I had to be uncomfortable to make sure that I go to my next level, right? And so I feel like there is something much greater out there for me and for what's to come. And I am excited and optimistic on trying to see where that is. And you have no idea. I just know. You know when you just feel something in your heart, you know, just before your race, right? And you know, boss, I'm gonna just win this race, right? You know that feeling? Yo, that's how I.
There's so much that I'm saying. Listen, there's so much that we can relate to here. Listen, I can't wait for us to have a sit down differently. But there's so
We need to
much
have breakfast, brunch, or something.
There's so much that I can relate to with regards to a lot of your experiences so far, and that kind of stuff. And listen, sis,
how are you coping? Like I know this is my interview and all, but how are you coping with all of this?
Well, I'm not doing too well. I miss work. Listen, I tell people all the time, even though while I was working at Liat, right, I would always tell the younger guys, the younger girls, listen, make sure that you have something outside of Liat that can make money, because if shit hits the fan, you want to be able to put your umbrella up, even if your shoes get dirty. You know, most of your body will be already covered. You know, at first, a lot of persons were looking at me like, oh, you're doing too much things outside the Liat and blah, blah, blah. But again, I had a vision. I knew exactly what I wanted with my life. And at the end of the day, when I clock in at Liat, I'm doing Liat work. You understand? When I clock out the Liat, I am in real life time. You understand what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, this is my career path, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. And I feel out of place to some extent, not being able to do what I have studied for like 1/7 of my life. And that part got me depressed for the first 2 months. But then at the same time, I found myself, and I found that there's so much more talent and so much more ideas and so many more things that Renée can do, and Renée is willing to do, but she just needed that time off to just find herself and just press forward with it. Even with this podcast, Monifa, I was helping a friend of mine with his interview and his social media platform. I'm gonna say to myself, but wait, well, if this is so easy, what make me can't? And within like 4 weeks, I already had my first guest, and that's when I reached out to you as well.
Right.
And then I was like, yo, like this wasn't supposed to blow up so big, but at the same time, I'm grateful that, you know, even though it was an idea, I leaped on the opportunity to get it done. You know, I'm right now, as you said earlier, I'm doing movables by Renée. You know, I'm grateful that I'm great with my hands, and I'm able to make furniture or contemporary modern kind of furniture that would fit into certain person's life, because there's a niche for that. You know, and I'm grateful that I could have done something like that at someone's request. You know, I mean, even though a couple of my other gigs are on pause because of COVID, I am now looking into utilizing that negative, flip it into a positive to create something that everyone can benefit, including myself. So as much as I'm not doing too well, I was not doing too well mentally, girl, right now nobody can tell me nothing. And I'm happy. And what I'm grateful for too is that I'm able to use my platform, whether it be virtually or in person. I'm happy that I can use my platform to empower and inspire other persons. And as you rightfully said, people I like to see people win, right? I like seeing, especially small businesses or someone come with an idea and say, Buttaz, what do you feel about that? And I'll be like, listen, if you just tweak this little bit so, if you just turn this little bit so, if you just let me make a phone call, you understand? And I can then they call back and say, boy, Buttaz, thank you so much. That makes me happy. And a lot of people say, why making I make them pay? Okay, there are people that I didn't have to pay that still helped me along the way, that got me to where I am right now. So it for me, I think it's something like it's like paying it forward and encourage persons, because at the end of the day, some people scared to even approach people. So even if you just come up and unconsciously say, boy, I wish that somebody could have helped me do this, and I hear that, I am going to pounce on that and be like, okay, I think we can help you a little bit and push them into their greatest self. So, sis.
And like what you're saying about paying it forward, and this is why on every Sunday I do a live on my Facebook page, Monifa St John, guys. Tune in. I'm going to launch the page, like my actual page, so people can just go on the page and not on my personal page. And I do a live every Sunday, and I call Minding Your Business, right? And you should turn this into a series, man. You're inspiring me here. Hello. But Minding Your Business is basically a little half an hour about me just talking about different businesses, different business practices, things that ideas, and how to reach from one idea to the next. And I've been getting so much feedback from that, and it's just been overwhelming, another overwhelming thing. But I just want to help you, and I just want to help people out there. And so I'm giving you what I know. It's not mine to just keep for myself. Somebody taught me, and so now I have to pay it forward. And it's very important for me to just, pay it forward. Now, if I have to do the homework and sit down and do your business plan and all that, then there's a cost. But
and I'll send you the invoices.
But just to get you started, that's free. That's on me. That's on the house, right? I just want to see you win. That's
so. Since you say the name of your show is Minding Your Business, no need to mind for your business. How do I find Monifa St John on any social media platform?
Well, that's it. Monifa St John, MonifaStJohn on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Where else am I? I'm on Facebook. I'm going to launch the page today. So, not today. Maybe in the week.
But when you launch it, just send it to me, and I'll just put it in the description box below. Yeah.
Great. Right. So I'm launching that. So you will find me in that. And I'm launching my website soon as well. And that'll be monifastjohn.com. Oh, you can also get me on Monifa St John. Well, sorry, Monifa at monifastjohn.com. That's my email address. So there we go. You know how we girls do it.
Well, Monifa, it was an absolute pleasure having you on Real Life Driven Conversations.
It was my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Listen, and trust me, there are a lot of information that we can take away from this that we can apply to our lives and to be better at ourselves and to inspire others. Because again, at the end of the day, if you inspire me, I'll inspire someone else, and then it'll be
ripple effect.
Yeah, it's a ripple effect. You know what I mean? So thank you so much, Monifa, and we'll talk about all those other good stuff some other time.
Later, when we have our brunch.
Yes, when we have our brunch, we'll have that conversation, and I look forward to probably doing a live or two with you in the very near future.
Oh, that will be great. No, you trust me. I'm gonna hold you to that. You hear that, people?
You know how to find me, okay? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I'm so very honored for you having me on your show. I am excited and elated, because I'm standing out at the moment. You guys can't see, but I'm standing out. This person that you guys have here, she's amazing, awesome, all of that, and a bag of chips with icing on top. Well, she would say Pringles. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me as a guest on your show.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Bye, Monifa.
Real Life Driven Conversations.